Being cheap does not mean that it's a good value. It's all about the bang for the buck. Like, I were to buy a Buffalo Trace for $25 and a Jack number 7 at like 10. Just, to me, that's a better value, even though it's more than twice the cost. So I'm going to show you 10 bottles that are absolutely fantastic values right now. Welcome to Whiskey Bank. My name is Dave. And I'm going to set some rules. So first, allocation. It matters. So if it's really hard to find, I'm going to factor that into the value of the bourbon. So number one example, Stag or Stag Junior. MSRP is $70. But how much hunting and how much favors or how much other whiskeys or alcohol do you have to buy in order to get that for $70 or win a lottery or whatever? And that really degrades the value of Stag. At $70, it's one of the best values in the market, but it's really hard to find. So that factors into. Number two, secondary pricing. So again, we'll go back to Stag. I can find it in my area at $250, $300, whatever. Or sometimes the cheapest I could probably find it is like $200. And then it loses all its value. Yes, MSRP is $70, but if I could only buy it, realistically at $200, then that's the price that I'm gonna set it at. So, and number three, I'm not gonna go over these. Everyone's been over these. These are fantastic values. These are great. Buy them. They're standards. All right, so I'm gonna go from the least expensive to the most expensive. So no particular order except for just that. It's according to price. It's not according to the best values. All right, so the first two bottles on the list, Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye and Jack Daniel's Bonded Bourbon. These are 700 milliliters coming in at $30. They are fantastic for $30. First, they're a little different. So that first list that I had, Buffalo Trace and Maker Mark, they're all great. But they have the standard wheater, the standard bourbons. But Jack Daniel's brings in a little bit more fruit. Obviously a little bit more banana, according to a lot of people, including me. But it's delicious, but it's approachable at 100 proof. I can find it everywhere. Big box stores, grocery stores, small liquor stores, and again, all at $30. It's both good for experienced drinkers like me, but also for beginners who just want to get into bourbon. The next bottle on the list, Four Roses Single Barrel 100 proof, coming in at $40. Four Roses is one of the best values in the market, but especially the single barrel. Man, it really introduces you to single barrels. So the variations of it, the tiers, all that good stuff. And some are really good, some are good, but in Four Roses case, mostly are very good. So to me, this has a little bit more floral scent, a little bit more spice than especially the Jacks, obviously the Jack Daniels or the Old Foresters, but it's smooth, it's a great mouthfeel, and at $40, you just can't go wrong. So Four Roses, single barrel, 100 proof, great value. If you're enjoying this content, please push that like button so I know I should create more of this. And also subscribe, it really does help me out. All right, next bottle on the list, Bardstown Origin Series Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is a wonderful bottle. It's caramel, brown sugar, cinnamon spice, gets a little bit of oak, gets a little bit of fruit, it gets the whole 9 yards. But what makes this at $43 a great value is its finish. Finish is oaky. It has a little bit of, a nutmeg spice, and then it gives you the sweet oak coming down, a little bit of chocolate. It's a wonderful finish, especially for $43 and coming in at 96 proof. So this is a great buy. And I would buy this up to probably about $50. So if you see it above 50, I would probably say it loses a lot of its value. But I could find it for 43, 45 in some areas. And so at that price, great value. Try to go find one if you haven't bought one. Next two bottles on the list, and this is probably pretty well known and on a lot of lists. Old Forester 1910, and Old Forester 1920. To me, the 1910 is the best bang for your buck for a double barrel or a double oak, and the 1920 is probably one of the best. Yes, I guess it's not really barrel proof, but it is a great value, high proof bourbon coming in at 115, and both coming in around $50 in my area. Now, sometimes I can get it on for sale for $45 an area if I buy both, which I guess I did in this case, as you can see in this image. But the double oak in 1910, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more darker, a little bit more oaky. Obviously, the number 1920 is a little bit more proof. So you want that hug. This is what you go for. You want a smooth sipper that's a little bit more sweet. You go with the 1910. But both are fantastic values. Most of you guys heard of 1915, which is basically just half and half mix of these two, which gives you the proof and the sweet. So can't go wrong with that either. So the next two bottles on the list, I feel like I'm doing a lot of these in pairs. I think a lot of these are kind of the same, but I think it's due to the price. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. Both coming in around $55 or $60 in my area. These are the best value barrel proof cask strength bourbons or ryes or whatever out there, bar none, period. Rare breed. To me, you had a dictionary and a definition of bourbon. The picture of rare breed should be on there. It's the perfect balance of sweet, spice, fruit, oak, and the finish is long, but doesn't have any burning or a sharp sensation. It's just everything's a slight peppery, slight oaky, slight sweet, slight bitter, just all right there. But it's the prototypical bourbon is what I call it. And Jack Daniel's, this is slightly less spicier than this. It's a lot more fruitier, banana forward obviously, but it's slightly more sweet, slightly less spicy, more fruit forward, and the finish is a lot more sweeter as well. So if you're more into the sweeter bourbon side, then Jack Daniel's is also a fantastic value. But number 9 bottle on the list, Knob Creek 12, coming in at 100 proof, around $65 in my area. There's no way that a 12-year-old was coming in at $65 these days. It's incredible. I know it was like $50 even 2 years ago. So it was even a greater value back then. But man, this has a little bit more oakiness than, let's say the rare breed has more, I guess it has more darker notes, has more darker fruits, a little bit more darker sweetness. So everything's darker again, because it's a little bit more older, but it doesn't overdo anything. It's not over oaky. There's no tannins. There's no burnt sensation, nothing. So I think it's the perfect balance of price to age to the oakiness. So if you like a little bit more darker notes in your bourbon, this is the bottle you should have all the time. And I keep on carrying this empty one, so I keep on forgetting to buy one. I should buy, I keep on, because I like trying new things. I buy all these other bottles, but I keep on forgetting to buy this. I gotta remember that. And last but not least, number 10 bottle on my list of the best values, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Any of them, all of them. It doesn't matter. I'm actually showing you the B523 batch, which has gotten the most hate because it was the first one under 12 years old. But at $70, coming in at 124.2 proof in 11 years, 5 months, still a great buy. And a delicious bottle. Yes, some batches are better than others by a slight margin. And maybe some batches, B520 comes to mind, C919 comes to mind, and the new C923 is getting great reviews. But those are sometimes exceptional, but all of them are great values, great tasting, and just fantastic. You just can't go wrong with any of them. I would say the most I would pay for this, $100. I think it's that great of a value at even 80, but it's a good value at 100. Yeah, I think I would still pick it up if, let's say, A124. They raised the price. It's $100. Would I hesitate a little bit just because of the price increase? But if I thought about it, that it's, most likely gonna be 12 years at 130 proof and it's delicious, yeah, I'll still buy it. So I think up to $100, Logic Craig barrel proofs are gonna be a good value. Are these gonna be the cheapest bottles out there? No, they're not. Actually, some are pretty expensive, but they are the best values out there. And I recommend if you see any of these and don't have any, that you buy them, try them, and let me know if you agree or disagree with me. Or if you have a different bottle that I haven't listed, what are your go-to value bottles? Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.